If you thought things already got weird a couple weeks ago when the US government settled to allow 3D printed guns on the internet, then this week's news is about the equivalent of the government dropping a huge hit of acid and thinking it's actually a glass of orange juice.
I like orange juice. Thank you.
I repeat, two different panels of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, aka the Liberal Court of Appeals, made the case for an actual constitutional interpretation of gun rights. If you recall, California is a gun owner's worst nightmare, and in 2016 they officially dropped their No One Wants to Take Your Guns Act and decided that anyone who owned a high-capacity magazine was a criminal. Now, prior to that, big mags were already banned and had been banned since 2000, but it wasn't illegal to actually have them, only to buy or sell them. But after 2016's snazzy new Proposition 63, law-abiding citizens were faced with a choice. Either get rid of their mags or become a criminal overnight. Like the jail time kind of criminal. And as a spiffy bonus, the state offered no compensation for any of these turned-in or destroyed mags, which is a pretty big no-no. Various cities throughout the state, like LA, had already passed similar ordinances, but to little effect. LA cops, for example, have seized almost 9,000 mags since they enacted their own ban in 2015. But almost all of those were taken from the home of a gun collector after he died. Police can't even say whether or not any private citizens have ever turned any mags in because, spoiler alert, they haven't. So clearly these kinds of laws have a great track record and we should totally be using tax dollars to fund them. The state law was originally meant to go into effect on July 1st, 2017, but only 2 days before the law was set to go into effect, federal judge Roger Benitez wrote a 66-page opinion temporarily blocking the law. He wrote that the rights of the voters had to be balanced against the rights of gun owners, and that under Prop 63, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of otherwise law-abiding citizens will have an untenable choice: become an outlaw or dispossess oneself of lawfully acquired property. That is a choice they should not have to make. The decision not only completely dismantled California's justification for the ban, but also reinforced the right to keep and bear arms. The case went in front of the Ninth Circuit in May, and on July 17th, the panel ruled in favor of last year's injunction. Now, the judges didn't actually strike down the ban completely, but they did rule that Benitez did not abuse his discretion and acted correctly based on the rule of law. The two things are different, but in their decision, the three judges did say that magazines do fall under the scope of the Second Amendment. So, in layman's terms, blocking the magazine ban was not an abuse of power, and mags are all well and good under the Second. The other case that hit the news this past week was a little bit more exciting, so long as you're a gun owner and find freedom exciting. If you are for gun control, then you are probably drinking yourself to sleep tonight. This case involves the right to carry a gun and the beautiful state of Hawaii. So let me tell you a little bit about Hawaii. Hawaii is a may-issue state, but in practice, it's a no-issue state. Permits are issued for only 1 year at a time, are only valid in the county that they're issued in, and require an applicant to prove that they will be in mortal danger if they don't get a permit. Hawaii actually hasn't issued a single concealed carry permit to a non-law enforcement citizen since 2000. I also found a website that tracks the number of concealed carry permit holders in each state, and it had Hawaii at 0. I'd like to think that that's just a lack of information or maybe poor updating, but the Hawaii County Police Chief himself says that he has never approved a concealed carry permit. And with permits lasting only 1 year, yeah, that 0 is probably accurate. So then one day, along came George Young Jr., a Vietnam vet and former law enforcement officer. He was in the Army for 21 years, carried guns for work, and felt that he should also be able to protect himself while off duty, which is pretty reasonable. but he was denied for both concealed and open carry licenses. So, in 2012, he filed a lawsuit. The lawsuit brought Young on quite the adventure. The U.S. District Court in Hawaii ruled in favor of the county and said that the right to carry a gun only applies to guns in the home, which is ridiculous. The case was taken to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court denied the case outright, refusing to actually hear it. Finally, this past week, a 3-judge panel with the Ninth Circuit voted in favor of Young 2-1, writing that, for better or for worse, the Second Amendment does protect a right to carry a firearm in public for self-defense, which sounds like the most begrudging win ever. The court did say that the Second Amendment doesn't guarantee a right to concealed carry, piggybacking on the insanity of the Peruta case from 2016. But it does put states in the interesting position that, if they ban concealed carry, they still have to provide a provision to allow citizens to open carry. For this reason, it's expected that the county will appeal the decision and bring it to the full court because, oh no, we can't have anyone in the Ninth Circuit jurisdiction running around with gun permits. That would mean imminent death for all the people of California. Hawaii's Attorney General Suzuki has already released a statement that he plans to regroup and see how else he can attack the decision, as he says it directly undermines Hawaii's commitment to public safety. Because without an appeal, there's now a federal mandate to start issuing permits. That is your Second Amendment and firearms news for the week. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you really like my videos and want to help support my channel, you can do so over at Patreon or through a one-time donation through PayPal, Bitcoin, or Litecoin. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe, and happy shooting!